Welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension post show. I am Noah here with the wonderful Eduardo. Eduardo, what on earth did we just watch?
We got to see Faith defending her mother for once. The child protecting her mother. She didn't like her. She said she didn't want to be with her, but she's like, I don't like the mean lady. And then later on, she's like, yeah, the mean lady's Krista, by the way. But
right. You have to specify in this case. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's important, right? But that's the thing, right? Faith is very much, and she tells the like Rachel, right? Her mommy, like, he wants to be with the mean lady, Krista. I don't like her. She's not good for us. Like, just straight up. She wants to replace you, mommy.
She spilled all that tea right on her mother. And Rachel isn't really surprised. And by the way, Rachel is like, meanwhile, hiding the fact that she has Barbara in the basement.
Yeah, she's just like, well, I got time to deal with this crap. Look, you just deal with your things. Just go away. Don't annoy me. I got some bashing to do, some pistol whipping to do down in the basement. Right here.
Oh my God! When she smacked her with the gun, this was a moment, you know. And I saw people are loving the bloody teeth, the Reservoir Dogs look, if you will, that Barbara has had going on. But yeah, this is high action business right now, and Aurora revealed that they are sisters.
That was actually important. So, by the way, I guess our production team's going to put that up, right, Noah? Here?
Right. So please play that in the background. We're just about to touch on that. So Astrid is paralyzed, basically, like, kind of, you know, she's like, ugh. And then Aurora torments her and tries to force her to tell Orson the truth about Carl killing Ingrid. You know, smiling Carl, maybe, or, you know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's smiling Carl, there's smiling Brit. But the thing with this scene that's important, right? And by the way, the decision came up out of this scene, which isn't the Fate one, which is basically what will Astrid do, and that's tomorrow. So it's like, will she lie to Orson, or will she tell him the truth? That's up to you to decide tomorrow. We won't talk about too much of that decision, but just so you're aware that exists. But in that scene, for sure, she's like friending her. She's like, conserve your strength because, you know, like your friend there, she may not wake up if you don't do what I want.
Oh my God. She was like, I'm going to jab her again. Oh, this was really gnarly. And I feel bad. Like, Haugen, honestly, with all her detective experience, she was really blindsided there. She was thinking, I'm going to Hagrid the night away. And, you know, I don't know that that's what she bargained for, but she was definitely caught off guard because I believe when she had her shield, she did, you know, she would be able to not get, you know, stabbed in the neck with, like maybe kind of neutralize that assailant. But, I think Haugen really, she was blindsided there.
Yeah. And Noah, this is a lesson. Whenever it's cold, wear a scarf. A, it protects you from the cold, and B, it protects you from wannabe syringe stabbers. Very important lesson for all of you out there. I hope you're looking. You can also look dashing like this. Like this is the winter collection. But otherwise, you know, in Norway, like the action really got intense there. I can't wait, honestly, to see tomorrow more of what's going on as little Angel Orson is witness to the scene.
Right, but before tomorrow, we have the decision that's opening today. So, production, can you please pull that up on screen? And Eduardo, with his delightful voice and charisma, please read it for us.
I do appreciate that. Obviously, I don't have as delightful a voice or charisma as our guest from last Friday, but I will do.
Oh, y'all liked it, huh?
That's good. I mean, I was watching that. Took my breath away. But anyways, what will Rachel do with Barbara, the fate decision? That's going to play out in about 4 days, so that should be on Friday, if my math is correct. And essentially, you have the options of let her go, redemption, torture her alone, suffering, and have Eric torture her, damnation. And well, definitely the last one I agree is damnation. I don't know how like, I'm not sure what will happen out of letting her go, but having Eric torture is like almost the having Eric take his own eye out.
Right. It's like you can. I love that Rachel's power is such that she can decide to have Eric torture somebody.
Yeah,
like,
that's actually, you're right. That's an option.
Yeah, that's an option that Rachel will actually have Eric do her dirty business. But like, why have somebody else torture when you can torture alone? I don't know. This is something y'all will have to help Rachel to decide here. But there's no good, well, one good option, redemption for Barbara. I mean, that's the one good outcome for Barbara. And I know people are talking about redemption whales, coming out for air with their breathing holes. I don't know. I don't have a good story for the whales. I love whales, by the way. But, if you're going to redemption this one, we're going to see Barbara being released.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what she does, right? I'm kind of curious as well as to what goes on. The one where like she kind of tortured her alone is a little brutal, but Rachel does wonder what's going on with the daughter.
Suffering hasn't been that popular, so we'll see what happens. But let's talk about Norway so far. So production, can you please pull that up again for our lovely Eduardo?
Yes, so I'm going to read to you what you heard in the pre-show, but the texture has changed here. That's what matters. Again, we had Astrid deciding to let Hagen hypnotize Orson, but the session ends when Orson attacks. And by attacks, we mean snacks on neck. Now, Britt meets with Nils and makes a decision regarding his painkillers. We haven't actually talked about Britt, but she had a really important story moment last week, and I can't wait to see what happens as a result of that in the days to come. Now, what we're focused on, though, today, from Friday and today, is when Astrid meets with Aurora for their final interview. Really messed up interview. You probably have had a chance to see it, but if you haven't watched and watch again, I know some of you have watched it twice to make sure it was a syringe in Hagen's neck and not a knife. Because she's still Dalin's Herald. She's Barbara's sister by her own admission. That's a really big deal, Noah.
That is a big deal. And, they're sisters. You could tell, they were both kind of like, they both started off as kind of like safe characters. Not safe, but kind of like characters that seem to want to help.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Barbara's way of helping was basically giving Rachel the book to take her own eye out. And Aurora's way of helping was scaring the bejesus out of, I keep trying not to curse, guys. This is what's happening. Scare Astrid with the anxiety that she might take her son, the Child Services of Norway, which I'm not going to presume to even try to say correctly because that's not going to happen. But so there's been a lot going on there in Norway, and the sister element. So you could tell that both of them have similarities. They both like to have bangs. And yes, sorry, Eduardo.
No, but like what I'm impressed by is that some of the members of the audience figured it out, and I do want to shout them out. Some of them had figured, wait, they kind of look similar. Maybe they're twin sisters, and no, some of you did guess it. You saw that they were sisters. Great guess, audience. Absolute kudos to all of you that were watching and had figured it out. Again, there's a multiplicity of you, so you managed to be the best part of the broken clock. Massive props. Great job from the audience there for sure.
Great job, audience. We love you. But let's talk about Pennsylvania because we love what's going on there too. So production, can you please show that up on screen? Thank you.
Yeah. So here, Pennsylvania, as Eric weighs abandoning Rachel, Krista grows concerned with Faith's worsening behavior. And maybe worsening behavior is the technical term for Faith really not liking Krista. But that really is the scene that played out today. Now, Rachel explains to Astrid what she learned about the Heralds. I think they're caught up. They kind of know what's up now. A little bit more was definitely revealed on Friday and a little bit more today because Barbara as well revealed herself as Hope Junction's true Herald, but Rachel didn't get stabbed in the neck by a syringe, punched a living daylights out of her, tied her up, pistol whipped her, a bunch of activities to make sure Barbara not going anywhere quite yet.
Yes, so we're gonna have to decide. Really, we're gonna have to decide if, as we said before, if she's gonna let her go, if she's gonna torture her herself, or is she gonna get Eric to torture her? Now, imagine y'all saw Ian, Eric on Friday. I don't see this man torturing anybody. Honestly, like he can torture you with like not hearing his soothing voice. That's a torture.
But yeah, no, it's one of the things though is like one of the out of the scenes that are playing out is Eric has the potential to be a good fodder.
Right.
Doesn't have to stay with Rachel, by the way. That's not. I mean, Rachel's like, no, we're done anyway. But like, can be a good fodder. Is concerned for his daughter, understands what keeps her calm, and his daughter respects him. But she doesn't respect his choice to be with, as she quotes, the mean lady.
Yeah. Yes. So, honestly, I'm still pro Krista. I love Krista. She's just a bit. I just don't understand. I don't understand, man. Like, why would she want that child? Why would she want that man? Like, I would be doing a Nora and just splitting, being like, that's all this business that you are conducting here is not kosher in my book. Goodbye and leave. But no, she still wants it, I'm telling you, Eric has something going, he has something going for him. Maybe in the nether regions, I do not know, but something over there has Krista hooked.
I mean, they did meet in the Morgie, right? But I am with you on the child. I think taking Faith with the whole package of Eric plus Faith too much. She kind of wanted Eric. She's like, oh, I'll take Faith, but like Faith is proving that she is definitely not somebody you want to trifle with. And honestly, the children are pulling their weight. They've been really impressive, actually.
Neither of those kids are to be trifled with. But let's talk about the decisions that the audience made so far. We touched on it a little bit, but production, can you pull that up? Eduardo will guide us through it.
Absolutely. So some of the key choices from last week here. Who will Rachel accuse of being Sacred Herald? She guessed right. It was Barbara. And by guessed right, I mean you, the audience, guessed right. Now, how will Britt handle her doppelganger's threat? This was very clearly redemption, asking Nils to hide their drugs. We'll actually, Noah, discuss that in a bit, because that's actually a really important theme with Britt.
Right.
Because who will Astrid ask for backup as well? We had Hagen. All redemption choices again, but they are part of a wider tapestry, Noah, right? Britt's choices so often end in redemption very strongly. The audience really likes Britt, really wants to see her go well. Her hope is high. The choices are all in redemption. When Astrid was dealing with Britt, they were willing to put Astrid into damnation because they wanted to see that sisterly love. And that was important. But, and also, I mean, how could they not choose Hagen out of Astrid? The Hagrid thematic is so strong. We see Olivia. Like, how could you not make that choice?
Yes, of course. And with Britt, really, we all had her make a brave decision telling Nils to hide his pills from her because she can't trust herself. She's been noticing she's having visions, weird doppelgangers, smiling doppelgangers of all sorts. And she just wants to keep herself safe from herself. And Nils kind of like dissed her. He was like, wow, you're pathetic, but no, like,
it's just like whatever. But okay, fine.
I didn't even get if he was like fine or not. I only got to the degradation there, but honestly, so we're trying to keep Britt sober here. This is the trend that has been going on ever since we saw her delightful carré haircut. I don't know how you call it in English.
Oh.
But since we saw her delightful haircut for the first time, because in the beginning we weren't sure even if she's gonna come, she didn't want to come to the funeral. She revealed herself, entered our lives, and we want to keep her sober. Seems to be a theme here.
Yeah, we haven't really had scenes on today with Britt, kind of, or on Friday, right? Because the heralds are really the focus, right? Like the reveal is a huge deal here, and that's obviously where the story's going. But as the days go on, important to remember Britt here because we clearly haven't seen the last of her. I hope we haven't seen the last of Olivia either. I'm a little concerned for her there. Because
That's the biggest torture. That's the biggest torture. Like, do what you will to Astrid, but don't touch her Olivia, okay?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm gonna eject her again, and she's not gonna make it this time.
Yeah, but by the way, that was that was important from Aurora, right? Is like, I see you for who you are, Astrid. And to be fair, Astrid has been cool, calm, and collected for most, but I do like that she has the energy to say "fuck you" to Aurora.
That was so great. Yeah, that was a great moment. You know, we love our Astrid when she gets her spunk on. You know, but let's look at the decision that's opening today. Production, can you pull that up on screen, please?
Yeah, so we have shown this, but it's what will Rachel do with Barbara. Now, we've seen the story in its totality. So the idea here is, in the context of that, what are your options as an audience to do this? So again, let her go, redemption, torture alone, suffering, and have Eric torture her, damnation. Now, no, I was watching the scene, and I was noticing that the audience was a little had violent tendencies towards what should happen to Barbara. A lot more than Rachel, actually.
Right. So people had enough with Barbara and her shady business, I feel, and we're ready to see that woman get tortured. I don't feel like maybe redemption isn't gonna take this one. I don't know, because people seem to want to torture her, and by people I mean me as well, because
you as well.
I am human and I need to be loved just like anybody else does.
Yeah,
and enough. Torture people too.
Well, I mean, to each their own, right? I guess, and like, it's a character you love to hate. That's also important, right? In the thematics, we need to have that proper person you want to see horrible things happen to. After all, horror shows are best when you get eaten up, sliced, diced, lost in the woods, taken away, bloodied, quartered, destroyed, whatever. There's a lot of options here. Because Noah, while we've been talking, Let Her Go was winning pretty easily, but we got to have Eric torture on a really nice rally. Right back up.
Woohoo! So, I have a theory that Eric puts the hung in hung, drawn, and quartered. But maybe he will apply some of his quartering skills here on Barbara. I don't know, honestly, the image of Eric torturing anybody is something that I would like to see, because I can't fathom it, really.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that scene. It'd be very different. By the way, I did like Drew's comment of cutting her bangs. That clearly, that might not actually be torture. That might be improvement help. So again, we're that's closer to the redemption option of letting her go. So, but yes, that's the thing, right? Rachel and Eric, they're separated, but maybe together they can find each other in the loving embrace of torture. Now we are, we're near the end of the show, though. We have loved being with you so far tonight. So here's the thing. I'm going to kind of recap the action because, we get these shows every weekday. So that's the nice part. You get to see how things evolve night after night. And then obviously on weekends we like to sleep, so not so much there. But essentially, the heralds, that's the big thing, right? We got to see the big revelation was Aurora saying to Astrid, now, Barbara is my sister. That was a very important thing, but as people pointed out, the bangs and the look kind of gave it a little away. Some of you actually guessed it was the same person, but they didn't look different enough that was big. Now, the other parts about all of this is that as a result, we're seeing the children actually take charge. So we've seen them being, as Noah says, specialer, but these scenes have actually showed another facade of the children. They've been a lot more calm, and they've been a lot more in defense of their parents for once. Faith, very aggressive towards Rachel, turned around. She's not saying she loves her mommy. She's not saying she really wants to be with her, but she's like, I still like her more than this mean lady. So that's really important. We're seeing the children coming around, both in Norway and Pennsylvania. So I actually wonder what's going to happen with Orson tonight. And one of the decisions, Noah, an audience for tomorrow is what we'll ask you to tell Orson about Carl and Ingrid's fate. That's paying off tomorrow between lie and tell them the truth. Another decision paying off tomorrow. How will Eric respond to Krista's proposition? That's a big one right now. Redemption, where reject her offer completely, is kind of going on. You're going with Faith here. but you have accepted our offer as to be a family if you really want to see it. Scandalo. Now, that said, you can stick around, not with us, but in the app and do some puzzles. Noah's always a fan of those. But for now, I'm going to ask production to put our next show graphic when you can tune in next time. Again, 5:40 p.m. Pacific on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. By the way, congratulations if you did tune in today and survived the Daylight Savings Challenge. This isn't actually a joke. That challenge is a lot rougher than it should be. Now, the show, 6 p.m. Pacific on weekdays, and then the post-show right after Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on those nights where we are there for the pre-show. We are also there for the post-show. We love to be in your delightful company. Now, I'm going to leave things with our Master of Ceremonies, Noah, to close it down.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another evening of titillating Silent Hill Ascension. We will see you next week. We will see you.
2 days, Noah. We'll see you in 2 days.
We will see you in 2 days, and tune in tomorrow. Big decisions tomorrow. So, bye-bye.